Well, good afternoon. Thank the Lord for being back in the studio. Let the truth be told, another segment. And glad to see you, Lori. Glad to see you, Stacey, back in the studio. Glad to see you guys back in the studio with us. I mean, just an exciting time, and so we had a few points we're going to go over today, and just really excited about being back in the studio once again to give out a new Let the Truth Be Told.
Thank you, Brother Williams. Thank you, Ms. Cooper, for your undivided dedication and determination. We appreciate that. Thank you, Brother Williams, again, just for the opportunity to partner with you on this, and with all the good feedback we've received. I think really we've kind of made an impact to where, although you folk in the audience may be our fans and may not want to do this, you still can appreciate our efforts and trying to always come up with better content and always constant content for UPTV.
You know, Stacey, just cutting in one. I thank the Lord for all the people that come up to us and say, "Hey, Sean, I seen you and Stacey on the television, and we sit and we watch your program. And when are you coming up with a new program?" So big shouts out to all you guys that, even though the basketball game's going on,
or the
Super Bowl football game was going on, you guys stop that channel and start listening to our program, and hopefully we're giving you some meat to live on, and some things, some principles, and some good nuggets to live by. So thanks for that.
Yeah, and what we're gonna do is introduce the title as we always do, but then we have a few bulletins up front in today's episode. As all of you probably well know, Sean and Pastor Lakeeby Johnson traveled to the inauguration, and with it being February and Black History Month, we kind of feel an obligation to kind of touch on that a little bit. But today's topic is kind of long, so I'm going to refer to my notes. The 3 Ds, an off-the-record look at determination, dedication, and desire. And we want to do this because we love all these terms, and we use and endear these terms daily, and Sean and I felt like we'd share them with you folks today. But first, we want to kind of dovetail and kind of have Brother Williams explain kind of his travels here recently and his feel from Capitol Hill, if you will.
You know, Stacey, I wish I could have took you guys with me, and Lori, so you could have got some great video shots of the Capitol. Never had been inside of D.C. Like that. I rolled past D.C. when I was in the military going to Fort Lee, Virginia. But being able to just get inside that city and feel the power that was in that city, I think a big shouts out to Senator Farrax and Senator Dick Durbin for allowing and giving us an opportunity, giving me Pastor Parks, Pastor Johnson, the mayor, and Brother Hub, and a lot of other people that travel, giving us an opportunity to be right there in the midst of the action. I mean, to be on Capitol lawn and just to see a sea of people behind us there to enjoy President Barack Obama's second term inauguration, and it was just a powerful experience. And for me, it was I guess the most powerful experience was when I looked out that hotel room and was able to see the Washington Monument and the Capitol building, and to see
Pentagon.
Yeah, to see the Pentagon, and see the Arlington National Cemetery right downstairs in the hotel, and for me to be to reflect back on my life and to say, even though the times seemed tough, you know, growing up and not really knowing where life was going to take me, but to see it took me one day to Washington, to Washington D.C. to that event, and on Martin Luther King's birthday. That was very special.
That was very special.
And it was very touching. You know, being a young man off of Beach Street and being a young man off of Hickory Street.
But let me share with you guys, he's a Williams, so he always could go across university free. He had a pass, so you don't want to leave that one out.
Yeah. So I thank the Lord. It's just great to be able to have that experience, Stacey.
Well, good. You know, with that being said, just to kind of drill down on that, the information was that in the first inauguration party or event, if you will, there was about 1 million people. Now the reports here recently were that there were about 500,000. So did that mean that everything was much more accessible to you? Do you feel like you really got the true meaning and feel from actually visiting the inauguration ceremony?
You know, Stacey, whether if it was a million people or whether if it was the 500,000, to me it was 2 million people, because there was so many people at the metro, their subway station, to kind of travel there. We left about 4 or 5 hours early that morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. The inauguration didn't start till 11,
right.
So we were there really, really early. By the time the inauguration started, you could just see people. I mean, you could just see heads of people for
a sea of people,
just a sea of people for miles and miles, and so to us it looked like 2 or 3 million people, you know, and so just it was just a total great experience that I'll never forget, and I'll be able to pass down to my grandchildren and be able to tell them that I played a part in that, and was able to visually see that.
Good.
You know, probably one of the most powerful things were to go to the Smithsonian and to be able to see some of the things, and it's leading into the Black History piece that we're going to talk about, you know, to be able to see a lot of history, a lot of Harriet Tubman's history, Nat Turner's history, you know, things that you have not tangibly seen. You only read them in a book.
Right.
But we was able to actually see some of their clothing, see Abraham Lincoln's, his actual suit that he wore, you know, to see his top hat, you know, to be able to see some of the slave chains, you know, to see the baby shackles that they would put on babies, you know, and those type of things, you know. I'm going to get more into that in detail, because we do a lot of that shackling to ourselves even today.
Right. And that's
you know,
kind of leads us into our
shackles kind of gone, but we still keep them
shackles mentally and
exactly,
emotionally.
Exactly, you know, and from all the hurt that we've been through, but able to see that tangible stuff, you know, to be able to see the war memorial, and then to be able to see, you know, the Veterans Memorial, and to be able to see all the times that all the vets, and big shouts to anybody that's spent any time in the military.
And you know, too, Brother Williams, to kind of tap on that a little bit more, sure, you tapped on the slavery aspect, but to also see the contribution that African Americans have made to this country, all the labor that went into the bridges, whether it be the Golden Gate Bridge or the New York State Bridge, and just all the sweat equity. I know that was very empowering to you also, being that most of our business comes out of the North End, which is somewhat perceived as blighted when compared with other areas of the city. That should be hope. That should be a beacon of hope.
Oh yeah, and the sacrifice that was put in, you know, I mean, we all count. We all make a difference. And when we it's what JFK said. It's not what your country can do for you. It's what you can do for your country. It's what you can do for your community. What you can do for your family. And so that was kind of that image that I got out of the contributions that these great men and women have put into the African American culture, or whether it was the armed forces, you know, not having that faith walk, you know, that something was going to get better, and you was going to put that work in to try to make it be better. And that's that faith walk, you know, and to have that determination that some of these people had to just continue to press on, you know, despite of what their situation was, despite of what their climate was, they was able to say, hey, look, I'm gonna make it better for the people that's gonna come up behind me. So
we're a product of that.
I
you know, praise God every day for the opportunity just to have been born in the United States. When you look at the world as it may be, where 99% of the world is in poverty, born into poverty, and that's going to be your future, and people are accepting of that. And I really thank the Lord, honestly, for the United States, which I really feel is still the land of opportunity.
Oh, it's definitely.
And I think Barack Obama is definitely a badge of, if you looked at opportunity, I think his name or likeness would appear in the Webster's Dictionary.
You know, Stacey, for me, you know, we look for our president to do a lot of things for us, and you know, and gratefully, you know, with him having you know, the title of being president and commander in chief, you know, we're expected of him to do some things. But for me, in a personal note, you know, he's did what I needed him to do for me, and that was to make that race, to go into that arena, to be able to challenge yourself, you know, and your family challenged, for you to be able to, to set that bar high.
And stay that course.
And stay that course, And so for me, he's done everything that personally for me. So that vote that I went and did that particular day with my mom, to be able to say my mom and my brother that first time when he ran, and we were able to vote that morning.
And share that experience.
And so he did everything that vote was supposed to mean for me. He did that morning. So he did that the whole presidency for me, and to be able to, even though they're coming at him left and right, front and back, he's able to still stand, and that's quite a difficult situation to be in, because we can see how it's taking a toll even on we in the hair business, even in his hair. He went from dark hair and his hair is kind of white now. Within a matter of a few years, But to have that amount of pressure on you on a day-to-day basis, I commend him and I tip my hat to him, And so we expect him to do a lot of things, But he definitely needs all of our help, and rightfully so. We should be able to pay our civic duty and assist this man in trying to make our country a better place.
Yeah, and I think you did that because you, as one individual person, may have made the voyage to DC, but I know how you feel, and you took the whole North End with you.
Right.
And I know Pastor Lakivi took all of Jericho and all his constituency with him. So I want to applaud you and Pastor just for representing us, and I feel to be the way we need to be represented, and I appreciate that.
Well, Stacey, thanks, man, because that is the motives. I love say your motives appear, and my motives were, I wanted it to be as pure as possible, because it wasn't about me. It was about the whole state of Illinois. It was our whole Champaign community. It was our whole North End experience, our whole Hickory Street experience, taking everything that's embottled in me and taking that to DC so that I can bring something back, that it gives somebody some hope and some encouragement. I was so encouraged when I went down there. I was able to contact Quantrell Hendricks, which is Ray Neese Wilkerson's son, and he's going to Howard University down there, a young man that's been around our barbershop, was around Henry's for years, and kind of grew up in this community. And he was so excited, and he had tickets, and he was around some congressmen.
And some Champagnians. I know that really kind of got it.
And so he was like, Sean, I'm going to try to get over there to your hotel, but man, I got a lot going on, and I'm around so many important people right now, and it just made me feel so good for that he was a product of Champaign, and he was like my nephew Jamar, when everybody counted his mom out, when everybody counted him out, everybody counted his situation out, he was able to conquer that, So don't let your current situation determine what your outcome is.
And with that being said, we want to get on determination, which is basically what we've been circling around, which is staying the course, being firm, and having a purpose. As we researched determination as a word, career came up. And, in this tough economy right now, there are some very viable careers out here. One of them being insurance or financial advisory, the barbering industry. A job, folks, is not a career. A job is day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, but a career is determination and purpose. Reflect on that for us. You got about 3 or 4 careers in one, so help us out with that.
With dedication, Stacey, it's definitely being focused.
Determination. Yeah.
Determination. Okay. Well, with the determination, is definitely being determined to do something, and that's being knocked down. If you've been knocked down before, you're determined not to get knocked down again. When you just said determination, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about Mr. Mammon over at Urbana High School, or I'm thinking about one of our coaches, Coach Taylor, and
I'm thinking about Pastor Lakivi again. I can't get off of him with the Built to Last. The one where he talks about the balloon, the blow up balloon. Mom and Dad, why'd you get me the blow up balloon? But he saw the principle and the rhyme and reason of that, because when he had that moment and he knocked that balloon down, it got back up. That's determination.
And that's the aspect I was going with either wrestling that I had in my past, or football. When that guy knocked you down, you got back up. When Rodney Eggleston and these guys knocked me down one day, and Darren Hersey and those guys, he threw the football right in between Rodney Eggleston and Rob Snyder, and they sandwiched me. Was I going to still continue to play? Was I still going to continue to try to catch that ball? And the answer was yes. Let me go out there and let me get back up. And let's go back on the field and let's dust it off. When I got pinned that time out at the mall in front of all my homeboys from the whole North End, was that going to stop me from wrestling? No, get back up. Let's work harder. Let's be a little bit more tougher. You can't be a chump out here. You can't be a chump. You can't be weak. We're in a tough society right now, in a tough economy. And so because one avenue closed, you got to be determined to try to make another one open for you. And I think we definitely shown that over here at Williams Memorial. Definitely showing that in the insurance business that we're in, and definitely showing that in the barbershop business.
Yeah, determination. It's just a lot of times it's tongue in cheek. Determination. But it's like history. It's like reading history. It's real easy to read history. Oh, he did this, she did that. But living history takes determination. And we do not want to leave that out of our equation. When you see us, when you see our video producers, we are determined. This is what we do. And we feel like this is the right thing to do, but we don't want to leave it out and not share that information with you, because we would be doing you a disservice, and we're not here to do that. We're a program based around content, intent, and verifiable information. So, and being determined, it's easier said than done. Yeah.
It's easier said than done. We can all say, hey, get back up and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And we talked about it on our way over here, a lot of us don't start at the same place.
We don't. Life isn't fair.
Yeah, it ain't fair. You kind of show up and you got the cards that you dealt with. And whatever situation that your forefathers or your parents kind of produced.
Feel lucky.
Don't take it for granted, because not everybody starts at the same place. So if you're in a great situation, don't take it for granted. If you're around educators and you're around positive people, don't take that.
Squeeze it, be a sponge, get all you can.
Like Mother Hattie said this morning, give me my flowers while I'm living.
Bring my flowers now.
And so tell people thanks. Tell those people thanks.
Open the door, do a kind thing for a person.
Exactly, And so that's on determination, being determined. And we should be determined because of that Washington, D.C. experience, that Smithsonian experience, when we have seen the people in our history that have put in the hard work to make it so we can even be, so we can watch Atlanta Housewives and to be able to have a sale.
Jay-Z singing the national anthem.
That type of stuff, It's a lot of people that put a lot of sweat and tears in so we can have the advantages that we have today.
We don't want to forget those people.
At all. It's legacy. We're in Black History Month, and being determined to make somebody proud. During the Black History Month, to show those people, because we're faithful.
How about just not those people, but make your mama proud? How about that? Mom, we made it. You ever say, Mom, we made it?
Or your kids, a wife, or or a friend, or old school,
or a senior citizen,
a community, and so that being said, it's a lot going on. And I know sometimes the climate don't seem like that you can be determined.
And here's an example of that, Brother Williams. You're in a business, but just one of the many businesses, but in the funeral business, the average age of the funeral business is 100 years old. A generation is 25 years, so you're competing with 4, 5, 6 generational businesses. So I feel like you're a living testimony of determination. And never give up, never quit.
Because it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. I'm not just doing this here for just some monetary gain. It's bigger than me. It's to give people something that they haven't that they deserve.
And really, what we've been able to do here and accomplish, and nobody can take this from us. No man can. Is that we've been able to serve families that other folks have deemed unservable.
Yes, yes, yes.
And nobody can take that from us.
Oh, yeah.
We've already, so like to analogize what you said about President Barack Obama, I'll bring that back right here to the funeral home where we've been able to achieve things for folks that were counted out.
Oh yeah, and so you know, and a lot of people that we serve, you know, I don't know what. I just talked to a lady the other day, and she said, man, if what if my daughter don't make it, that 2-year incontestability, you know, I mean, I said, Mom, don't worry about that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. You know, you just try to take care of your health, because a lot of times we're worried about other folk. And a lot of times, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, straight across the board. A lot of times we worried about other folk that ain't even worried about their own self. Right. Keeping it real with you. So don't you get your health down because somebody else didn't let their health go down. We talked about working out. We talked about a lot of things earlier today.
You gotta put your time in, cardio.
You gotta put your time in everything. You know, not just
and what don't leave out also when the warning light goes on.
Oh yeah.
Pay attention to the warning light on your dashboard.
Yeah, I mean, because your body got a warning light. You know, I mean, when you know, an old car, you know, it start before it started ticking. There's some other things that went on before it started ticking. You know, that say, I need to go get some service. And so that's how life is. You know, life gives off some warning signals. You know, it's warning before destruction. And so a lot of times we have to pay attention to the signs. And so going back to that lady, you know, just telling her, hey, look, you know, don't worry about that. We'll take care of you.
We'll meet you in the middle.
And we'll better work that situation out. You know how Stacey, I go back, and it's a tough thing because in the insurance business we have to be telemarketers also.
Yeah.
And so we have to get on that phone. And I remember just recently talking to this 88-year-old lady, and talking to her. You know, we run the script on her, and we kind of talk to her. And she said, you know, I don't have a care in the world. You know, I'm just waiting to go see the Lord. You know, and she said, I thank the Lord for everything. I'm not complaining about nothing. You know, and I had such a good conversation with this older lady. She's from the Decatur area. And I said, Mother, when I get over to the Decatur area, I'm coming to see you. Because I just want to get a hug. I need to tap into some of that. Tap into some of that joy that she had. You know, this joy that I had, the world ain't give it to me. The world can't take it away. And sometimes we don't like to tap into the stuff that's right around us.
Yeah, mind our own diamond
angels. Yeah, you know, and tapping into that older lady and tapping into that joy that she has, and it rub off. You know, good spirits rub off from each other. You know, sometimes we just around too many bad spirits. You know, we wonder why we can't get our life on track, because we run around with all these jerks that ain't got their life on track. They just bad spirited people. You know, and so you can't get nothing from nothing. Nothing from nothing leads to nothing.
Yes.
You know, and not saying that we can't double back on these people, but we have to take our own self to the body shop first.
Right. Now that we, hopefully, folks, you understand how we feel about determination, and we hope that can rub off on all of you in your daily lives, with not only you but your families, children, and extended families as well. Now we're going to turn over to dedication. As you folks already know, before we go into the next topic, we always like to start with the Webster's Dictionary definition, and this definition will be of dedication. Dedication is selfless devotion, complete and wholehearted devotion, especially to a career or ideal. And with that being said, we kind of want to talk a little bit about the dedication to community, because that's one of our big goals and aspirations as being concerned parents, citizens, and business people in Champaign-Urbana. And as we all know, Brother Williams is very active in civic involvement. And so kind of dovetail off on some of the things that are going on. I want to kind of start with the more recent event that's upcoming this week, which is the Bottenfield Elementary School National African American Parent Involvement Day. Wow, what a label. That's long. That's a tongue twister. But tell us a little bit about that and what your purpose is with that and what you guys are aiming to do.
It's broken down into being napping. for several years. So we've been doing it for several years within the community in Nappan. And like I talked to the superintendent of schools, Mother Hattie, Pastor DeVita this morning on the radio. I don't have any kids in the Unit 4 school district. My kids are grown, but that being said, it doesn't stop just with my kids. We got to be involved in every young person's life, and give every young person a chance of hope. And it takes that village to raise a kid, and that's just my personal feelings toward that situation. So me going out tomorrow, I'll be speaking over at Bottenfield School to an assembly of kids tomorrow, and talking about entrepreneurship and things of that nature.
That was my next question. What's your message? How are you going to set them on fire tomorrow?
Well, I'm gonna set them on fire, and I kind of learned this for Jerence Howard when me and him went over to Thomas Paine, along with Corey and a bunch of people. One thing to get those young people up is to get them to moving around first.
Yeah, a couple jumping jacks.
Let's get a couple jumping jacks. Let's get on up. Let's wake up so that you can grasp the message. And then let them know that I was telling the superintendent this morning, I think that every kid has an opportunity and has a great opportunity to be somebody, and we shouldn't leave any child behind. And she was saying she had a great story this morning about when they got the new Washington school built, and one of the young men, he said, I love my new school because my old one was kind of dirty. And he was very, very excited about his new school.
That kind of aches of pride. Sense of pride.
Yeah, sense of pride. You care about what's in your neighborhood. You care about the school that you go to. And that's going to affect how you interact within your school and how you grasp the information, and it helps the self-esteem of even the teachers to know that they're going into a technology room full of brand new computers and stuff, brought in by the UCTB or something of that nature, So that community involvement, everybody working together for one common goal, and that's saving our young people,
Education.
And that's that piece of Nappan, and being able to say to the parents out there, take that time out to stop your day, pause for the cause. Pause because it's important for your kid to have a Quantrell Hendricks experience. So your kid can go to Howard. I got another young man, Grace Mitchell, we knew her from Grace Wingfield over there at Urbana High School. I talked to her grandson on yesterday at the shop, and he's so excited because he not only has one scholarship, but he has two and maybe a third being at the University of Illinois, but he has a full ride scholarship to Howard University. Wonderful. And a full ride scholarship offered to him from Morehouse. And so we just loved on him yesterday at the barbershop and just told him how proud we were of him to be a product of the WIP and now be able to transfer and maybe go to Howard University. So it's about loving on your young people, and giving them that sense of hope, and that sense of pride to take it to another level.
Yeah, and like as an example, Quantrell, he's not only representing himself and his family, but he's representing where he came from, because inevitably, as you get to know a person, the second question is, well, where'd you grow up?
Yeah.
So he's kind of making Champaign, possibly a better place and more desirable place by the way people perceive him as well. So that's kind of really a neat trickle effect or domino effect.
Oh yeah, and it's the small things that take you over the long haul. His mom instilled humility in him, and humbleness,
integrity,
and so his character takes him a long way, because one of the things the young man told me, I'm around a lot of people with money, and money can only take you so far, because people with money always see a lot of jerks with money, and so they don't really want to hang out with those people too much, because everybody's arrogant in that arena.
Everybody did it on their own, and nobody. It's like a turtle on a post. That person just showed up.
Yeah.
Turtle on a post. Just remember that. Turtle on a post.
Yeah.
And how possible is that?
Not too possible. But just not taking that for granted, like we talked about earlier, not taking that for granted, And so a big shouts out to all the single moms out there that have raised young people.
Single moms run the world.
Big shouts out to that young lady. You know, I've been knowing her for years, and to be able to raise such a great young man like that, you know, as I reflect back on her life, son, you know, it almost get me teary-eyed to know the struggles of what somebody else went through, you know, and trouble don't last always.
No,
remember that.
It's a season.
Trouble don't last always. You just work on your troubled situation, but it won't last always. And now to see the family blossom the way the family had blossomed, and this young man could be their MVP.
You could apply that also to
MVP.
We can apply that also, Brother Williams, right back. I'm going to bounce this ball right back to you on Built to Last this morning over at Jericho, as far as the seasons and how they won't last forever, but at the same time, we have to get through them. We have to weather that storm just to get that opportunity to see that piece of sun again at the end of that rainbow. That being said, I think he quoted Judges on that. Help us out with that.
Yeah, he definitely went out of Judges chapter 11, verses 1 through 6, and it talked about Jephthah and talked about the struggles of Jephthah, and it talked about how his brothers, you know, threw him away and some things of that nature, and his mom's struggles, dad's struggles, and things of that nature, you know. And but Pastor went off of Built to Last and saying that we were built to last, you know, almost like, you know, for tough, you know.
Yeah.
And
our DNA.
And it's in our DNA to snap back, you know, even through the tough times, branching back off into slavery, even through the tough times, you know, we would snap back, you know, and be able to bounce right back, you know. And a lot of times our situations don't get any better, Stacey, because of the fact that we don't tap into something that's bigger than ourselves. You know
why?
And so that dedication, that determination, you know, you gotta be tapped into something that's bigger than yourself, you know. And us being, you know, faithful people of faith, you know, we believe in Christ and we believe in God, and never being ashamed to say that, you know. And so we looking at, you know, for God to be able to help us through a lot of our struggling situations.
Lord knows we've been through a lot of them and still going through them.
Oh yeah,
we're not to the shore yet.
And then being able to go, you know, you're always asking a friend about your problems. You're always looking at a television. You look for Dr. Phil to tell you something about your problem, but you never go to the Word and find out what the Word is saying about your problem.
Yeah, because the Word is 1,000 years old,
and it's something that's gonna last forever. You know, I'm not gonna last forever. Dr. Phil's not gonna last forever. But the Word been here way before we even got here.
Wasn't even thought about it.
And it still lasted forever. So when you don't know the answer, you know, don't pick up the phone and call somebody else that don't know the answer. Because most of the time they're gonna tell you what they think, and then they have never even been to the place where you trying to get to.
Right.
You know, so
it's like the blind leading the blind.
It's the blind leading the blind. Exactly, that's what that is, you know. And a lot of times, you know, going back to NAPID and the National Parent Involvement Day, a lot of times, you know, as being a parent, you know, you know, especially when you're on your first child, you know, it's like a trial and error, you know. And then by the time you get to your second, your third kid, or your fourth kid, or your fifth kid, then you start to get that parenting thing down.
You should,
you know, because it ain't a blueprint, you know, on how to raise your kids. You know, it's not a blueprint. But mom and dad tapping into something and tapping into the Word to kind of find some alignment to train up a child in which way he should go. And then when they grow up, they won't depart too much away from it. And even if they depart, they'll find out where that track is to get back on the right track.
That's the key.
And that's the key, is getting back on that right track.
That's part that seems to be like through the storms. That seems to, you have your zenith and you have your downs. And so to me, the storms mean the up and down.
Mm-hmm.
The storms and then the calm, storm, calm. And through the up and downs, that would be, it's kind of like the moderating force to keep you almost always in the middle, even though things may not be going so well for you. Kind of like a safety net, if you will. You know,
Stacey, when you said the downward, I remember being in Bible class the other night, and we were talking about Satan and how Satan was in heaven, and how he got cast out of heaven, got cast down, and Pastor introduced us and told us about, you know, that experience that Satan had being in heaven. And he knows the experience, he knows the gratefulness that's in heaven.
The fruits.
And the fruits that's in heaven. And he don't want us to get to that, because now he's down and he's affecting our lives, our everyday mission. of happiness. Anything that's about peace, about happiness, about togetherness, he's against all that, and so anything about chaos,
and gossip,
and keeping up a bunch of mess.
Atlanta Housewives.
God ain't nowhere in that.
Kim and Chloe Take Miami.
Ain't nowhere in that. Girl fights.
Bad Girl Club.
Bad Girl Clubs. Brother A-Dub, they're doing a piece on the war against drugs right now. A lot of our young people out there, they got a lot of these songs out nowadays.
Molly's the one you hear a lot about.
Exactly.
I hear that is horrible for these young people.
And so that's a terrible drug that young people are being introduced to through rap music.
Ecstasy.
You parents, you grandparents, be on the lookout. A lot of this stuff from your kids, because they put these glorified names and titles on it. Like Skittles, and then they got the grape blunts and the strawberry blunts and
Sprite with the brown in it.
It's just so much. It's so many. The life is getting to be a big bag of sins, and you can just pick what you want. Pick what you want.
How do I want to feel today?
How do you want to feel today? And how do you want to feel today? But life ain't about today. It's about legacy. It's about what Mother Hattie talked about when she talked to these families. It's about that dash. What are people going to talk about me in that dash? When I'm stretched across somebody's church, what are they going to say about me? What impact have you did into anybody's life?
Did you make a contribution? Did you give? Or all you did was take?
Did you just snuff out other people's lives? Say per se, like the young man that did the shooting over in Atlanta last week, killing the witness. Did you just snuff people's lives out? Did you just destroy people's lives? Were you just a burden on folk all the time? You never had nothing good to say about anybody, not even yourself. And a lot of times people say stuff bad about other people because they think bad about themselves.
That's all it is. You can't love anybody if you don't love yourself.
You can only put out what's in you. And if you built, and you're not built forward tough, you go toe up, you started out in a rough place and you just stayed at a rough place, and you kind of deal with the 5 heartbeats. Dad said, you're not going to be anything because I was nothing, and if you kind of just bottle that up and beat yourself up,
carry that
baggage, that baggage,
weight. You gotta shake it.
You gotta shake it off.
You gotta shake it.
Shake that off. But what you say, dust some colors off, brush it off.
Pop that collar.
Yeah. And and a lot of things make you feel better. And a lot of things that don't cost much make you feel better. Being out of, I like going to parks. I like going to the park.
And lakes.
I like going to the lake. We just said we have many meetings
at
lakes. And
public lakes around.
Yeah, but I like enjoying the things that's free. And a lot of times I talk to my young men that's been incarcerated, and I tell them, freedom is priceless, because a lot of our people, when we talk about slavery, they didn't have that one thing.
And that takes you right back in a circular fashion back to the shackles. Let's talk about that. The shackles. Even though you may be out of that box, that 10 by 10, you still shackled mentally. And how do you counsel our recidivists, which a recidivist is a career criminal, if you will, by definition, is what a recidivist is defined as. How do you counsel recidivists?
Stacey, when you said that, I thought of one particular young man that had got out of prison and came over to the shop, and everything that he said was gloom and doom. They're not going to give me a job because of my felony. I can't do this here because of this, and this is not going to happen because of that, and it's because of my parents with this, and just so negative, shooting himself in the foot before he can even get started. Because you had that bad experience. So what? How many people haven't had a bad experience?
If you live long enough, everybody will get one.
My grandmama used to say, you just keep on living. You'll see. You just keep on living. Because if you keep on living, you're going to have a bad experience. You keep on living, you're going to have a bad day. But if you keep on living, you're going to have a good day too.
See, and that's the deliverance part of it. Being delivered from a bad situation and ascend to your greatest height. With that, we want to dovetail into desires, because the bottom line is we are people of the flesh. We're in one race, and that's the human race. And we all are trying to get just a little bit more.
Trying to get to them desires.
A little bit more. We all want desire. So let's get to desire. I'm overdue. I can't wait to get to desire. Yeah.
You know, and carving that thing and bringing it on home. You know, one of the things about the desires, but the desires coincide with the determination
and the dedication.
And the dedication.
That's the fruits of your labor, is the desire.
But you know, seeming that, and we talked about trouble don't last always. But you know, I done went through enough struggles in my life. But at the end of that road of that struggle is a great benefit of one of those desires.
Because you're better off. You got character. It's called character. It's called mettle. mettle.
It make you stronger.
You can read about history, but to make history is painful.
Man, you know.
So get ready.
You know, I look back, and when you said that, I thought about the Whitney Houston, you know,
memorial
that we did out here. You know, right out in front of the funeral home.
I believe I can fly.
Something that was never done, maybe even in a funeral home aspect within this region. You know, now John Beck was the guy that was mentoring us. He got a television program that was probably never done before, which is called Best Funerals, and that's a television program that's on that I have seen John do. And but I mean, just to have that experience of doing that Whitney Houston Memorial out here in front of our funeral home,
which had never been done before, and also the fruits of the desires equaling the fruits of that experience for me personally was that we brought opposite sides together.
Oh yeah, definitely.
On one accord, and that's really was a beautiful and very most positive outcome.
Oh yeah, because you know, media came and those guys got in touch with media earlier, and you know, everybody looking for a good fight. You know, people like confrontation. You know, that sales, that sales. So
blood sales.
And so they looking for the confrontation of it. But you know, once you know, because sometimes you got to turn the other cheek. You know, it takes two to tango. You know, and so to be able to turn that other cheek and say, hey, look, guys, we're just like you. You know, I'm an Army vet. You guys over here, you're Army vets. You know, and we're just out here to really just you know, memorialize the legacy of this young lady's life and the significance that she brought to all of our lives through song. You know, and so the one thing that we did was that to bring those guys across. At the end of the night, them guys came across the street,
and the mayor was so conciliating, and Senator Frericks, and also I think that another very positive outcome of that was folks that didn't feel like they had a voice all of a sudden were in front of the mayor of the city, Champaign, Mr. Don Gerard, and State Senator Frericks, who came with his daughter on a cold night, and she's about 2 or 3 years old. If that isn't determination and dedication, I don't know what is.
You know, and saying cold nights, you know, Stacey, we did the awarenesses for homelessness again this year, you know, and it took dedication and determination and a desire to want to be out there for a cause that's bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
On a cold winter night, one of the coldest nights of the year. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you guys, because I always keep it real with you. I didn't make it. I couldn't make it
last year, though.
No, I made it to the program.
Okay.
I made it through the program. I just couldn't make it through that cold, fierce night. Because first of all, I was doing some other things, and I wasn't dressed for the occasion.
You
you had to be properly prepared.
And have a right sleeping bag.
And I wasn't properly prepared. You know, I'm suited up like this here. No, you needed a Carhartt suit on. You need to be dressed like you work for the city of Champaign or the city of Urbana. Yeah. You know, you got to be prepared, you know. So when you get ready to go up through a bigger giant like weather, you know, you need to be prepared for those.
And it was a bit wet that night too.
And it was very, very cold. It got to snowing.
Yeah.
And they got to snowing that night. But for all the people that stayed and spent that night to represent homelessness and help raise that, you know, I think they were trying to get $50,000. They maybe raised $30,000. Thank the Lord for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank the Lord for you guys that stood out there, that dressed for that part and stayed out there and represented homelessness. You
stayed the course.
And, you stayed the course. You stayed focused. And a lot of times we can't stay focused. So I thank the Lord for you guys that was able to do that, because while other people are sleeping at homes in their warm beds and the comfortability of their own homes, you know, it's other people out here going through a way bigger struggle than what you can even imagine, you know. And so there again, taking things for granted. Something like he.
And having that grace, to me, that represents grace.
Yeah.
Oh, but by the grace of God, when you look at a poor, homeless person, that could be you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And always, and the farther away from that you get, that's treacherous.
Oh, definitely, especially in a tough economy like this, you know, with markets falling and things of that nature, you know.
There is no security. No material security.
Well, you know, Stacey, we didn't got into, and even branching off to desires, because I believe that you can achieve anything. But when it's coming to the point in our country where it's either you got it or you don't, you know, it's no middle no more.
That's a real thin thread.
So you either got to be on top of your business or you ain't on top of no business.
Because there's no such thing as money in the middle anymore.
No,
it's you're all in or all out.
And I think that's the way, you know.
It's always been that way.
It's always been that way, you know. And some of us just been coasting through life, you know. Just been coasting. And some of them been coasting off the hard work that we put in. And some of us been coasting off the work that our parents put in before us.
But hey,
you know,
don't run out of gas.
But at the same time, and in a tough economy and the way things are looking, and you looking at the current climate the way it is,
the political world,
and untapped into something. You're not tapped into that, not being tapped into. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in that. You know, we don't believe in a whole lot of other stuff.
But we believe in wearing saggy jeans in the newest fly rap song that comes out.
I don't believe in going to church. I don't believe in going around all these.
But there's power in assembly.
This, that, and this. You know, it's power in tapping into something. You know, and so we don't believe in a lot, but we always want a lot. You know. We always got our hand out. I call it the generation of the takers, you know.
Well, I've heard you call it the microwave era too.
Yeah, and because they want it right now.
Right. You want it in 5 seconds flat.
You know, become career beggars. You know, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. And we should not be that. You know, and amount of determination that a Harriet Tubman would have to come up north and then walk back down, not drive. Not get on a train, not fly a plane down there and say, I'm going to bring 300 people up north. She walked back down south.
Yeah, for fear of getting shot as well.
And brought 300 more slaves into their freedom, into their desires, their dreams, into something that was prosperous.
And you know, Sean, we were so excited about getting into desire. I'd be disserving you folks if we did not give you the Webster's Dictionary version of desire. Is to wish or long for, want, request, to express a wish for, the object of longing. And more importantly, desire, usually like the carnal lust part of desire, that's the negative side, but we like to thrive on positive things, so there is a very positive side of desire as well. And I think that maybe where the line may be drawn, and this is really a couch question for you, is the line drawn in between the positive and the negative, and like you would say, Brother Hub said, your motives? Is that where really the crux and the rubber hits the road and your opine?
You know, Stacey, going back for just me, and this is the views and opinions of Sean. You know, going back for just me, the desires that I really ultimately want to achieve, and me being in the funeral home business and seeing people, you know, in their last moments and their last funeral services, is that my desire is to one day make it to heaven and God say, well done, my great and faithful servant, that I put in the amount of dedication with not just me and my family and people, you know, but in business, within anything that I did to help somebody else pay the way, that my dash gonna be such a great dash, you know.
Serving dash.
That it's gonna be a great dash, you know, and every day that I wake up is another chance to get it right, to make it better. And so that's the world can give me that the world can give me that ultimate desire is the fact of heaven, you know, to be my home and things of that nature, you know. But for here on earth, I believe you should live great here on earth.
And you know, Sean, also as far as we kind of discuss and we brief for our programs, when we look at desire and how we approach what we do, we understand we've got the greatest products, we've got the greatest services. We think we're the best thing since sliced bread. But that being said, not everybody thinks the way we think. So what we I think we'd be helping our audience if we kind of share with them how if persons really don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. And I think the businesses that we're in really resemble that, because all we do is serve. I mean, we're well compensated. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm broke, but we really help people.
You know, Stacey.
And we know that you folks can really help. Maybe a coworker, maybe a neighbor, maybe a church member, maybe someone you've never seen or met in life. Because as Joel Osteen, I once heard this fabulous message that he said, don't look for a blessing, become a blessing. If you want help, help somebody.
You know, and that comes from that tapping in piece, knowing how to get a blessing. See, a lot of times we don't pick that word up, so you won't find that unless you get into that word.
You got to tap in.
You got to tap in. You got to know how to tap into how to get a blessing. And if you don't know how to tap in, see that's what make going through troubled waters, much more easier, because you know how to tap into something to make that not last that long.
Like our audio coordinator, she's brilliant. She's got a huge IQ, but she had to put the charger in the socket because it ran out of power. And that's how it is in life. You gotta juice back up.
And being in a tough economy, even if you're trying to run your family right, you're at the school all the time, checking on your kids. You're cooking, you're working hard, you're being a dedicated employee, or you're running your own business. That battery pack can get low. It can get low. And sometimes, we're like our cell phone batteries. We're running around on E. We run around blinking. We can't, sometimes you can even physically see it on people. It's written all over your face. You're road raging every day. You're upset every day. It just takes just a little bit to tick you off. You can be standing inside a line and somebody taking a little bit more time than you wanted in line, and you huffing and you puffing.
Looking right straight through them, want to kill them with a stare.
And you're killing them with a stare instead of being more loving, more kind, and being able to be a little bit more patient with people, And so a lot of times, it takes, for you to be able to get the desires of your heart and your life, you got to be willing to see other people make it too, and a lot of times we get so selfish because we want what other people have. Well, sometimes we don't know what other people have been through to get to where they try.
You may not want what you think you want. Yeah. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it.
Trying to stand in Stacey's shoes or Lori's shoes, it might not fit. For you to be trying to want to stand in my shoes, I love a lot of young guys that come in, man, and say, oh man, if I had your hands, I'd cut mine off. Man, if you had my hands, you'd probably be cut off.
And also share with those young men, be careful what you say, young man.
Be careful, because you have your own life.
Because words can be lethal.
Oh yeah, because I remember one time I was cutting Bishop Wright's hair, and I said, Bishop Wright, I'm going to give you a Steve Harvey. He said, oh no, don't give me a Steve Harvey, give me a Bishop Wright.
Right.
I was proud of who he was.
Right.
We got to be proud about who we are.
And come to find out, Bishop was right on point, because Steve Harvey's wasn't even his.
It wasn't his. He went down to one of the stores on the corner when he picked him up a little piece and put it in here.
I believe for years that was his hair for years.
When it sprayed a little stuff around there to make the line. And, a lot of times, you got to be careful nowadays, because they have so many different things. You can paint up this, you can go get some more hair, you can get some fresh eyes, you get some new nails, you get scared. You go get padded muscles, you go get padded teeth.
Hey, you can get a buttocks implant.
Next thing you know, you don't know who you done took home with you, because it might be Pookie. But but you have to be careful out there, young people, is what I'm saying. Older people out there in general, because we always got to remember, Brother Hillsman always talk about it's a spiritual battle out there, and Brother Hillsman is right on point. It is a spiritual battle between good and evil, right and wrong. And so, in order to try to reach the desires of your heart and things that are going to last, might not last forever, but what you want to do is make them last as long as they can possibly last. You got to be doing some right things. You know, one of my great historians is Mr. Percy Gordon, and one of the things he said, it ain't no right way to do wrong. I don't care what it is. It ain't no right way to do wrong. Wrong can't do nothing but lead up to wrong. Right things lead up to right. So by making the right choices out there, you know, life is about choices.
Yeah.
You know, and about making those right choices at the right time. You know, and you only have, the bus only come by a few times in your life. You know, where God blesses us to come through and be able to make right choices, right wholesome choices.
And that being said, the door of opportunity closes.
Yeah.
It does close. So our followers, listeners, even our new followers and audience, you know, we try to be as authentic as possible. Everything that we say, I can speak for Brother Williams very confidently and comfortably. We mean it. We've researched it, and we are concerned about our dash, and we feel like this is a contribution, and we want to hope that you feel the same way.
Oh yeah, definitely, you know. And when you see us out in the street, man, we always speak, you know, get a peace sign, and we're going to be serving a lot of families, you know, and going into homes and talking with families and making families better, making you more equipped, making you more equipped to be able to deal with, you know, life struggles.
But we can't help you get better if you don't want help. So don't look at us as a pariah, because we're demonstrating factually and in your face that we exhibit dedication, determination, and ultimately that's why he may have what he has, or I have what I have, or our audio team has what they have. It's not without work.
Oh yeah,
it takes a whole lot of hard work.
You definitely got to put your individual work in, you know. And you know, don't become one of those people I've been talking about the professional beggar. But we'll get ready to close our program out, and I thank the Lord for all our listeners and all our watchers out there, people that listen to me on 90.1 WEFT with Mother Hattie and Pastor David Bernard and Brother David Allen. You know, big shouts out to all those guys down there at Webb. And I just thank the Lord for our city team and staff making great changes. The new mayor, new police chief. I thank the Lord for all the people that help us in the funeral home business. Stacey, yourself with insurance, Marcus, and all the people down there at the WHIP. You know, OD, Marshawn, my son, Chris, you know, just Marlon, just great work. I thank the Lord for you guys. So until next time, let the truth be told.
Thank you.